If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it would be greatly appreciated if you could give the podcast a 5-star rating. This helps other listeners just like you discover the show. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Andrew Pledger, and this is Beyond BJU. And I'm really excited to dig into today's topic. And this is going to be a solo bonus episode on my Patreon. And really the topic we are exploring is, do cults purposely traumatize their followers? Now, this episode is based on the book called Terror, Love, and Brainwashing: Attachment in Cults and Totalitarian Systems by Alexandra Stein. And I'll be reading some from this book and just sharing some things and thoughts on really Bob Jones University. And a question I wondered about was, did Bob Jones University purposely traumatize us? Or was the system set up to traumatize and people took on the system without even questioning the harm and just kept it going? What if cults in general purposely do this, or it's built into the system by the founder and is passed down without question? A BJU survivor mentioned to me this possibility after seeing my quote in the Greenville News article about my podcast. And the quote I said was, and I quote, "Trauma really affects how you relate to people," Pledger said, adding that the university, which receives federal funding, had religious policies that led students on a path of isolation. He added the atmosphere marginalized students at risk of harassment, end quote. When I said this, I never considered the possibility that these systems purposely or are built to traumatize us. I was speaking from my own personal experience. I came to Bob Jones already traumatized from my own cult upbringing, and really this made me question that. I have been on my own journey immersing myself in cult education, just trying to understand my upbringing, my own parent psychology, and then my experiences at BJU to really process it, to get validation, to heal, and to avoid future harmful groups and relationships. And also, so I can educate others on these prevalent groups in our society. I came across a cult expert named Dr. Alexandra Stein, who really digs into this question of, do cults purposely traumatize people? And she explores this through the lens of attachment theory. And she takes attachment theory and applies it to cults and cult leaders. Now, before I continue, I want to say thank you to my Patreon members because you allow me to do this work. For those who are hearing this preview, this is a Patreon exclusive bonus episode. My Patreon has a 7-day free trial if you are unsure about committing. And there's also a free option for posts that I decide to make public. The link to my Patreon is in the description of this episode where you can access this full episode. Enjoy this Patreon exclusive bonus episode of Beyond BJU. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond BJU. If you are listening on Apple Podcast or on Spotify, if you could leave a 5-star rating, this will help other listeners just like you discover the show. Thank you.